On Tuesday, as millions and millions of Americans were headed to the polls, a writer by the name of Allan Nairn, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, posted an article on commondreams.org. And it was an article that actually put out a point that not only was phenomenal, but it was something that I had not yet thought of. And his entire premise is that the Republican Party as a whole has worked harder this year to suppress your right to vote than they did to stop the coronavirus. And it's absolutely factual. I mean, think about it. So far this year, we have seen the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee, the RNC, file lawsuits across the country to stop people from being able to vote. Filing lawsuits to challenge the times the polls would be open, the number of polls, lawsuits to challenge the number of ballot drop boxes per county, lawsuits to challenge universal vote by mail that states were implementing, lawsuits to challenge whether or not being afraid of a pandemic is a valid reason to get an absentee ballot. All year long, those things have been going on. And at the same time, these Republicans in positions of power across the country, what have they been telling us? Well, you're just going to have to learn to live with the virus. Well, there's not much we can do. Well, we don't want to tell you you have to wear a mask because we don't want to infringe upon your freedoms guaranteed to you by the U.S. Constitution. And then in the same breath, they say, by the way, make sure we don't let these people vote. We got to get these people off. We got to limit the polling hours. We got to close polling places so that some people in rural areas have to drive an hour just to be able to get there. Make sure they don't qualify for vote by mail. Make sure this state up here can't implement this. All while doing nothing about the pandemic. This is an insult, and it tells you where their priorities lie. Their priorities of the priorities of the Republican Party do not lie with protecting the American public. They lie solely with preserving their own political power. Understand that for a second, folks. These people, Republicans, and I mean, let's not say it's only Republicans. There's plenty of Democrats like this too, but it's, every Republican. They run for office for the sole purpose of being able to continue to run for office. They seek out power not to change things, not to make things better, but they seek out power just for the sake of having power. That's what we're dealing with today. That has completely enveloped this entire political party, and the other one is not too far behind, believe me. But at least the Democratic Party has some bright spots. The Democratic Party has plenty of young up-and-comers who aren't seeking power just for the sake of having power. They want power because they want to change things. They want to make things better. Point to any single elected official on the Republican side that wants to actually make things better. For everybody. Plenty of them want to make things better for those at the top, but why is that? Well, one, because they're in that income bracket, but two, because the ones at the top are the ones who fund their campaigns, and if they're not funding their campaigns, it's harder for them to keep the power. It is an endless cycle. And so they will fight to protect their power. They will not fight for us. They will not try to protect us. All they will do is save their own behinds. And that is what they've been doing all year. Out of one side of their mouth, telling everybody to be afraid of voting, be afraid of voter fraud. We've got to do all of these things to protect you, when really they're taking away our rights. And out of the other side of their mouth, oh, we can't put a mask mandate in place because that's taking away your rights. When in reality, that's not a thing either. They're lying to you both ways. And they think that it's going to benefit them. And as long as it works, it will continue to benefit them and nothing will change. Nothing will change. We have to get rid of politicians who seek office only for the sake of holding office. There's plenty of people who ran this year who wanted to make change, and unfortunately, they didn't get that opportunity. 2022 is not that far away. Let's give these folks, the ones who actually had ideas and plans and policies, let's start rallying behind them now And let's start making sure that all those Republicans who seek to actually curtail our rights, our right to vote, let's make sure that they don't get reelected next time.